Today I'm gonna show you how to do an easy eyeshadow look on yourself with only 2 makeup brushes. So like I said, I don't like long intros. Let's get started. We're gonna do a natural eyebrow today. I already glued my eyebrows down. I also have a video tutorial on it. I'm gonna go in with the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Wiz instead. Basically, you're gonna draw hair strokes and filling in the gaps. So you're just gonna keep going until you get the shape that you like. So this is how I want my eyebrows. I will carve it out after I do foundation because I'm gonna show you a very easy eyeshadow tutorial that anybody could do with just a few products. Okay, I'm gonna do my foundation and be right back. All right, I'm back and this is the foundation that I did. Typically I do my eyeshadow and then I do makeup and foundation afterwards because doing the eyeshadow gets pretty messy. My eyes don't have anything on it right now. It's up to you if you want to just use eyeshadow primer. If you use eyeshadow primer, you're basically, getting this shade. I like to use eyeshadow primer and mix it with concealer. If you're wondering why your eyeshadows don't stick or the pigment doesn't show up as much, it's because you didn't put eyeshadow primer. And then what eyeshadow primer does is it helps make the pigment stand out. And even if I got the eyeshadow palette and did like the eyeshadow like this, the pigment will show, yes. But if you're talking about longevity or if you have like oily eyelids or you don't want it to crease as much, you need eyeshadow primer. You could choose either just only eyeshadow primer or mix eyeshadow primer with concealer, and I like to mix eyeshadow primer with concealer because I feel like it just gives the best of both worlds. It smooths out my dark circles and helps, stick the eyeshadow better. Okay, before I get started, I'm gonna get a little bit of my coffee fix. I'm gonna do half side natural and then half side more on a glam. If you want it to be natural, don't put too much concealer. This is my palette right here. I mix both the concealer with the eyeshadow primer and I do tap it back and forth and swirl the brush around so that it's evenly distributed. Now, if you're not sure how it will apply, like I said, use the back of your hand. So this is kind of too much. If you want it to be natural, you want it to be more diffuse. So I'm going in with the M133 brush from Morphe. So I'm just going in slightly like this and swiping. So I'm not gonna carve out my eyebrow on this one because I want a natural, everyday kind of makeup. So we'll do this. If you're doing a natural look, you want to keep going like this, back and forth until it blends well and it feels tacky. So this is what I'm talking about. If you add something like this, it blocks off dark circles and pigment and whatever you have on your skin, and it just helps make the eyeshadow pop out more. Without at least eyeshadow primer, you are not able to put on eyeshadow at all. It just won't stick on your eyelid. Okay, we're doing a glam eye on this side. I go in with the A19 flat brush from Morphe. I'm gonna go in and carve my eyebrow. So the placement and shades that you use will determine what the makeup will look like, how dramatic it looks, and obviously, your makeup skills, what you're able to do, and the outcome will depend on, all those factors. It's a little hard for me to do my eyes because I usually do the eyeshadow first and then the foundation. So right now I'm trying to do the eyes without messing up my foundation. So I'm trying to be a little bit strategic here. Regardless, I still want to keep a natural looking eyebrow, so we'll do that. And on the other side of the brush, I'm gonna feather it out and blend everything on my lid. We're gonna do 2 different shades just so you kind of get what I'm trying to do. So we're gonna go in with 2 Roman palettes. This one is the Peach Dahlia that I'm gonna use on this side of my face, and then this one is the Peony Garden palette on this side of my face. Well, what you want to do is, it doesn't matter which eyeshadow palette you want, just find one that you feel like has like a range of like some darks, some light shadows, and then some shimmers. This one's my natural side. If you feel like your eyeshadow creased a little bit because you waited a little bit too long, you want to blend it out a bit. I think I'm gonna go in with this shade right here. So what you want to do is use your middle finger. When you look straight in the mirror, you want to look at both of your eyes and find out where's the highest point. So it depends on you. Do you want your eyeshadow to pop out more or show up when your eyes are open, or it doesn't matter to you as long as you have some kind of eyeshadow? A lot of people that don't wear eyeshadow or struggle to wear eyeshadow, it's because they didn't go high enough. That's the reason why you can't see it. But like I said, it depends on the eye shape and your skill. But what you want to do is, okay, so when I open my eyes, I have a little bit of a fold right here. So if I want to have the eyeshadow show up, I do need to go up much higher than I think, right? So if I want it to pop up here, I want to make sure I place the eyeshadow here. If I want the eyeshadow to show up on the outer corner area, I want to place it as high as here. So then when you know that it's that point, you're gonna tilt your head down looking in the mirror. I have a mirror down here. So I wanna look down at my mirror until I see my eyelid crease, and I know that that's my point where I wanna put the eyeshadow. Anyway, it takes time and practice, but let's do the natural eye. So I want it to be high up here and high right here. So what I want to do is I'm gonna go with the shadow all over and just do patting until you get it all. Okay, so you have to ask yourself before you pick up more product, is this the intensity that you want, or do you need to go higher? I definitely need to go a little bit higher, but like I said, it just depends. If I were you, just practice a few times. The trick that I'm gonna show you is using a one fluffy eyeshadow brush to get the eyeshadow look that you want. So you wanna go a little bit more intense. Because it's a mid-tone shadow, it's actually not too dark, so you could actually go pretty heavy-handed. If you want it like not as heavy looking, you don't need to press down that much. You could do like a diffuse look with a fluffy blending brush. But if you want to go to like a, let's just say that we're just doing like a special event kind of makeup. So you want to put enough over the crease. So I'm going to go back and forth, back and forth. And I'm going to open up my eyes and look and ask myself, is this what I want it to look like? And I think yes. Going in with the M333, what I want to do is swipe it back and forth because I want to keep it natural. See? So easy. And then with the same finger, if you want it to be like this, you can leave it like this. Like I said, let's just pretend that we're going to like a special event. I'm gonna do like this white shade. So again, you want to go pretty heavy-handed because these shadows, they're not like crazy intense, but no matter how intense you go, it doesn't look too crazy. But like I said, you gotta play it around. You see how I picked up that much? I find myself picking up more product. So definitely, even if you go pretty heavy-handed with these Roman palettes, they don't look too crazy. If you want to do your makeup for a special event on your own, I feel like these, you can't go wrong. So you see how I'm picking up the shimmer and going like that? Look at how soft that looks. Now it's up to you. You could go back in with the brush and swipe it. It just depends on how you want to look. So you're going to keep going back and forth with the finger, and then with the shadow, and with the brush. So I want it more intense. I keep adding more and blending out more. So you see how soft and subtle that looks? This one I'm gonna go in with, let's go in with this. So with my middle finger, I'm gonna press, and it should kind of look like this. You're gonna tilt your head down, pack it, packing and going side to side, packing, going side to side. And it's up to you where you want to stop. So this is what that looks like. If you want to do the whole eyelid, you could. But like I said, these eyeshadows are pretty soft looking no matter how dramatic you go. So if you want more dramatic, press, grab more product and press harder. So you should get something like this. Going in with the M331, so you want to blend it. If you end up buying this palette and you want to utilize the rest of the shades, you could. So this is what that looks like when you blend it. You could use the same blending brush and maybe go in with like this shade right here or a mix of these two and just go swiping back and forth on top of that shade. So you could play around with it. But I promise you, this looks really natural after I'm done. Depending on the colors that you pick, makes the eye shape look different. So you see how I got a little bit of fallout underneath my eyes? That's the reason why I don't like to do my foundation first, but you know what? I already have baking powder, so I know that it's just gonna swipe off. Okay, so you're gonna get this eye shape. We're gonna pick a shimmer. I think I wanna go in with like the really light shade right here. Start from the middle. And you see I'm pressing pretty hard. And no matter how hard I press, it's still pretty soft looking. So I recommend these as an everyday eyeshadow palette. Like if you want some variety, but you don't want it to be too dark, and then you don't want to spend too much money on an eyeshadow palette that you're not sure the shades are gonna look good or not, you know. Get with the blending brush and swipe back and forth. So you see when I open my eyes, I could go higher if I want to with the mid-tone color, up to me. If you want to go darker on like the outer corner, you could get the darker shade and just go like this on the outer 1/3. Even a dark shade looks pretty soft, and then just blend it in. I have 5 of the palettes, and no matter which one I use, they all look beautiful. It just depends on like the look that you get. So some of them have warmer tones or like cooler neutral tones. Something that's really nice to have in your makeup kit and on the go, or when you go travel and you want to like, or if you go out of town for a bit and you have a wedding out of town or trying to get glam and whatever. These are really nice eyeshadow palettes for that. So on the glam side, I typically do eyeshadow on the bottom. Make sure I didn't do it today with the eyeshadow primer underneath, but if you want to put eyeshadow underneath your eyes, put the eyeshadow primer under there also. So let's just pretend that I did it. I'm gonna pick up a mid-tone shade and then go under here like this, as close to the lash line as possible. And the reason why you want to do your middle finger is because it just has the right amount of pressure to distribute enough of the eyeshadow so that you can still see it. And then like again, you could go in with the dark color and just go on the very outer edge. And if you want to go darker, you could close your eyes and go on the lash line and just go back and forth, back and forth. I'm gonna show you with the same pair of natural looking eyelashes, and then this side I'm gonna add on some clusters to kind of show you how different it looks. Let's just pretend that you're not a girl that knows how to put on eyelashes, or you don't care to put on it. Make sure you curl your eyelashes. And you want to go as close to the lash line as possible and hold it for a long time. I say like 20-15 seconds. And you want to press pretty hard. Okay, if your eyelashes curl easily, which some people do, but you have stick straight short eyelashes that kind of fall down after putting my waterproof mascara and it still goes straight, you want to make sure that you press it pretty hard. And then what I like to do is I crimp. So let's say that my finger is the eyelash, right? It's straight. So I want to make sure I go all the way really close to the eye press it, hold it for like 20 seconds, and then I go a little bit towards the edge of the lashes, right? And then when I keep going like this, the eyelashes should go kind of like this, if that makes sense. And each time I'm gonna, you know, keep going back and forth, just to get a nice C curl. And I'm gonna go in with the Kill Lash Mascara. So this is what the tip actually looks like. It kind of has like a little curl. I'm a makeup artist, so sanitary reasons, I go like this. Okay, so hopefully you can see from this side. Go like this, back and forth. I have very like stubborn, straight, short eyelashes. If I were to do everyday makeup, I might put a mascara, but for the most part, it's really hard to see my eyelashes. So you see how just one coat doesn't really do anything for me. So that's what my real eyelashes look like. Poor me, don't have anything, which is why I wear falsies. But you know, so if you were to do an everyday makeup and you know you're okay with this is fine. We're gonna do this side. And another trick also is if you get like a card or even like a tissue paper, you could lift up and go like this. If you go pretty close to where you would actually put eyeliner with the mascara wand, you could kind of fake a liquid eyeliner underneath. And it also gives like a illusion of fuller eyelashes, so you see the difference between that one and that one. Sorry, it's a little hard to like film and see what am I doing, but you know, you kind of get my point. Like I said, my eyelashes are pretty short. Nothing much is, you know, happening here, but the difference between doing that card trick versus not doing the card trick, it just looks more, you know, defined. So if you are not good at putting falsies, but you want to do like a glam and put on mascara for a special event or a wedding that you want to attend, I would probably recommend doing this way. It just looks natural, but yet a little bit of glam, you know, like you have a little bit of eyelashes going on and a little bit of depth to your eye. I'm gonna go in with this pair. This is the Ardell 420. But you also have to figure out if you want to go glue it close to the inner corner or closer to the outer corner. It gives like a different eye shape and a different look. But most of the time you want to stick to where your the ends and the front of your eyelash hair would go. Looks like this. You see how dramatic this looks versus this side once I get the eyelashes on. So if you ever put on eyelashes, false eyelashes on yourself and you wonder why the lash strip keeps popping out, it's because you didn't wait for the glue to get tacky enough for it to stick onto your eyelid. All right, so this is what it looks like. Because the eyeshadow shades are a little bit different, it kind of gives a different look. I want to do a little more glam on this eye just because I want to show you that it looks a little bit different depending on what you pick. I'm going in with this. This eyelash cluster set does have self-glue adhesive to it. But when you use clusters, you don't want to go too close to the base of your lashes, just because for my eyes especially, if I go underneath, it has like, you know, the clusters are short, so when I close my eyes are more heavier. It kind of scrunches. Like if I were to have the eyelashes together like this and I close my eyes, it kind of like smushes like this, and then over time throughout the day, that little corner from wherever I place the eyelashes kind of like poke my eyes on the inner side. So it just depends on how I feel. I might not put it underneath, but it just depends. So sometimes I do stack like 4 clusters on top of each other, or like, you know, 2 to 3. Smush it right here so that it could go more higher. All right, this is what that looks like. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you subscribe, comment, like, and share. And I'll see you guys on the next one.